Good morning. This is Jen with Two Rivers Books and Weird Sisters Yarn. We've got Zipporah and Farnell from Reading is Resistance with us again this morning. This is our last session for the summer. We've had a blast. We're going to say thank you to everybody. Before we jump in, I want to remind everyone of the trunk show we have coming up this weekend. The Dye Project. Sarah Henderson moved to Santa Cruz, but she's coming back up here partnering with us again for a new line of yarns. She's going to do a presentation with us at noon on Saturday. It's going to also be on Crowdcast. And then on Sunday at 4 o'clock, we have a collection of phenomenal food equity activists who are going to be joining us in conversation to talk about their work and the things that they're doing to make sure we're all fed, which is super important. So that's 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, again on Crowdcast. So we hope that you'll join us for those. Take it away.
All right. Good morning. Thank you. We're happy to be here for our final Saturday coffee conversation.
Thursday.
Why is it not Saturday though?
Oh,
I can hardly do this week. It's so bad.
You see my eyes? I'm like, today's Thursday.
This is week 2 of our kids' remote schooling. I'm just going to use that as an excuse for how we're feeling. So we're from Reading is Resistance. I'm Zipporah, and this is
Farnell Newton.
And Reading is Resistance focus is on supporting teachers and parents in curating reading experiences and libraries that see deeper conversations around racial justice and hopefully get us all to be active in the community as well. I think I said that right.
Yes. Yes, you did.
We're here to talk about fall upcoming. We're here to talk about...
We're going to start a podcast.
Yes.
Reading is Resistance.
Reading is Resistance.
So definitely follow Zipporah on all the social media platforms and all of that. We will be posting about that soon. I think we're going to do like our intro video maybe this weekend. We'll see. And so we can at least get it out there so people could, bookmark it, follow it on whatever platforms that they use to get podcasts and such.
Yeah, start waiting in anticipation. We'll be talking about book picks, remote schooling, social justice topics, our newest great ideas about how to do good stuff in community.
And just family, what we're going through. And
just us doing this.
This is day 9 of
it's the wrong day.
Kids homeschooling. They're back at school. This is their second week. Mm-hmm. And today
I would like to shout out.
Today was a hard one.
Today's hard. I would like to shout out the teachers, and I would also like to say Miss Alika. I know you're not here probably because you're principaling, but at Kairos
PDX,
man,
big respect. They check in daily with the kids, and do it just like they do when they're at school. When they greet the kids at Kairos, they greet them, big smiles, music playing, dancing, making them feel warm and welcome. And they're definitely doing the same thing over the computer, which is not an easy thing to do because I'm in probably 20 Zoom chats throughout the week, from music to tech to whatever. And they do it. I like to sit in there and listen to her because she's just like grounding them. And
it's really both for parents too. Just get through the day together with the kids, teaching them. So Miss Alika, Kairos, amazing. This is actually kind of linked to one of the things I said we were going to talk about hypothetically when I was not thinking it was Saturday, more on top of things earlier in the week, was about ways of sustaining social justice practice in families. But one of the ways is to do it in community. Because like having Miss Alika just even give her talk every morning and knowing her and hearing her and then hearing the teachers and then, connecting with other folks, bookstores that we're working with, musicians that you're working with, people like staying in community and staying in touch and keeping closeness.
The key is staying in touch because shout out to Max Smith of Portland. He gave me this amazing compliment the other day. And my response was, hey, I might not can always be out in the streets, and because of my situations with other kids or home or life, but I'm always here to support, always here to connect with people virtually. And, and I definitely do enjoy social distance coffees at Desk Doc Coffee and many other places. So it's still very important to let people know that you're still connected and communicating and such, even if you're not able to be out, or if you have concerns over the pandemic or whatever it is,
Yeah. So stay in community doing this together. That's really important.
Yeah.
Good reminder from Miss Alika and others in our lives. There's a couple of things that I want to talk about book-wise. Oh, you know what? Actually, speaking of community, I just wanted to show, this is like backwards.
It's backwards, but we just got some new stickers. Reading is Resistance stickers. Shout out to Pop Wonder Design, JP. He does all of my work for music, bands, and I knew support needed rebranding of the logos and such. And he was amazing. He listens. He's able to make adjustments and so easy and organized and wonderful to work with. So if you ever need any work, I think it's popwonderco.com. He's amazing, period. So got some new stickers. So definitely we're going to be getting those out into the world soon and such. We're trying to figure it out, maybe tying it in with some programs and book bundles and various different things that support is going to be doing. Such. But if you're local in Portland, we might just make it like come by the house and grab them out the Little Free Library.
That reminds me, we've been redoing our Little Free Library, and there's actually pieces of it on this table right now.
The door of the library.
I've seen a trend lately. Yeah,
it's right here.
It looks crazy, but it's going to be good.
Books for youth only, please. So we don't get those random romance novels and such.
Which are totally fine.
Which are totally fine. But, the other day it was like, I have them in my trunk still. I need to donate them somewhere. It was a bunch of like old mystery books. And one of the cover had like two masked guys with weapons with a kid tied up. And I was just like, what?
No, we found a lot of weird. Yes. Cole, if you have books that when you pick them up again, you thought you really liked it and then you realized that it's terrible, this is part of social justice work. Get that book out of here. Take it out of circulation. We do not need that book.
And also, if you have books you want to drop off to us that are great for kids and anti-bias and so forth, and just really great books, like reach out to us and we could work out something. I could drop by and pick it up, or you could drop by and drop it off at the house like many other people in the neighborhood do. There's
a trend right now. It's called Little Free Diverse Libraries.
Oh.
And nice. I will put I have to write a couple of blog posts about the last couple of weeks. I just also finished the school term. So I turned in grades this Monday. No wonder I'm so out of it. I turned in grades. Anyway, there's Little Free Diverse Libraries, and their goal is to circulate, obviously, books by Black, Indigenous, and other people of color, people on the gender spectrum, and like just more inclusion all across. So look for that. There's a lot of Instagrammers now doing.
What do you have over there in the stack?
I have some things because some stuff is upcoming. Well, one thing is that this week we put together some book boxes for Books Not Bars, which is a great organization here in Portland, working to support children and families and to stop the school to prison pipeline. And so many of you probably listening were part of our fundraiser and donated money so that we could get out 2 middle reader books and 2 YA books with workbooks that have discussion questions and activities inside from Reading is Resistance.
Pretty amazing looking.
Very professional. And so each book comes with a little mini workbook inside, extended learning, all sorts of great stuff. And we have 4 boxes of books that we're going to be taking out. So I just wanted to showcase our work on that. Upcoming in fall, we will be producing more workbooks to share. Some of those will be free and downloadable. Some of them will be by donation. And some of them might be fillable forms online that teachers and parents could use with their kiddos or for themselves. This is just a picture book that I recently acquired called Journey Toward Hope. And this is actually, our daughter Vera, of Vera's Reviews.
Vera's Reviews.
Mm-hmm.
She has an office.
I just shared out one of her reviews today or yesterday on beautiful. March, the series, the graphic novel series, and I've been getting a lot of feedback. This book is gorgeous. It is about undocumented, unaccompanied minors crossing the border into the United States. And this is going to be one of Vera's first read-alouds. She's going to do weekly read-alouds.
Nice.
So be looking for those. I think that we'll add some questions in there that you could talk about with your kids and some reading that you could share or just listen to yourself with your little sweet face. So that's coming. That's coming in fall. We're preparing for those. I think she wants to do them on Wednesdays because she has half day of school. So they'll be coming out. A couple of other books that I just wanted to talk about with some of our fall upcoming things that we'd love to see you at. One is that I am going to pilot an intergenerational book club. So grown folks and kids together. I think the first book we're going to do is This Book is Anti-Racist together. So reading it, coming together and talking about our experiences, sort of for accountability, for sharing, for building community. I'm going to try that out. The other book that I'd like to do early on in our intergenerational book club is A Wish in the Dark. Our middle graders read this book and it just lets you have such good conversations about justice and the justice system and even incarceration and what is just and right and how you decide, that I think this would be a really cool book to talk about with grown folks and kids. So Wish in the Dark, which I've said before, is awesome. Christina Soon-Tornvat is the author. She also has a series of a little bit earlier chapter books, and she's coming out with a book about the 13 boys in Thailand who are like trapped in a cave. It's a real story she's coming out with in January. Everything she writes is amazing. I've been listening to podcasts with her. I love her. So that's that book. And then the announcement about an intergenerational book group that's going to be coming up in fall for us to meet parents and kiddos or any adult with their kid friend. That sounded right. Another thing that I wanted to announce is that our middle grader book club is going to transition into a youth advisory team for Reading is Resistance. So our middle grade book clubs have been amazing. The readers are just so insightful and thoughtful about the world and their own experiences right now, and really interested in social justice, and they really know what they like to read. And so I was talking to them and I thought, hey, why don't we read, a variety of books and then talk about how we maybe share them out with other people, and they can decide what book we want to recommend for other middle readers. So coming soon, a form to apply for the youth advisory team, which will be reading together, but also informing Reading is Resistance work, probably working on leadership skills and just bonding and community, working towards social justice together. So that's going to be the youth advisory team coming out in fall. It's a lot of things coming out in fall. The other thing I wanted to talk about is that we're going to have some, I don't know what we're going to call them yet, but book bundles, book boxes, book collections.
Yeah, we're still working on the
book friend groups.
The wording.
It's not right at all. No.
I don't. What was that?
It was bad.
Wow.
I'm going to think of something catchy somehow, maybe. But I'm going to just preview the topics, not the books yet. But we're going to have a supernatural book collection coming out. Might be good for October, or anytime in fall when it's dark and stormy. Mm-hmm. So supernatural, that's going to include stories about witches, vampires, werewolves, all from Black, Indigenous, and other people of color. And there's some really good. Lobizona is going to be on there, which was one of our August picks. But that'll be a choice. And then Cemetery Boys, which is coming out. There's just like a ton of awesome books.
Cemetery Boy. Is that the Witch
It's new.
Boy?
No, that's for our middle. We'll have Witch Boy on the list for our middle readers. We're also going to have sort of in an October-ish theme, a Cooking Up Magic book box, because there's a lot of really good books about magical baking from lots of different cultures, and it's cool.
Yeah.
I love that as a theme. We like to bake here. So
I mean, it's a great way to pass down traditions,
Yes.
stories,
Yes.
Traditions culturally, and just like, words of wisdom. I mean, those are a great time to spend time with your family members.
Yeah. So there's going to be a collection of magical baking, cooking up magic, we're going to call it. And then I'm putting together a list of books for sort of, there's like prevention and there's intervention. This is like a prevention type of book collection, which is going to be the Decolonizing the Fall book collection. I think you know where I'm going with this, but there are a lot of things that come up in the fall. There are some holidays that are kind of a mess, and just a lot of practices and thoughts. It's just bad. So
we ruffled some feathers last year.
We did make my family mad
in November, and
because we stopped celebrating Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
and instead took it as a day of mourning. And the kids were also the children were also upset. So it was a fun time for everyone, but we just couldn't.
But the
they
thing
understand.
about it, the great thing about it is, like, you would think like kids will have a harder time understanding these things, where they were more receptive and than the adults.
That's true. They understood it. I mean, it's hard to have change.
Yeah.
Which is another thing about sustaining social justice work, is that you just have to be prepared for change, and that the change is sometimes uncomfortable. Like, that was super uncomfortable, actually, for me. I did not enjoy that shift.
But you had it the worst because your family's here, most of your family. And I usually don't do anything with Thanksgiving with the older girls. So,
I mean, they understood, but they were not happy because we have this other tradition, but it was just it did not go with our values at all. So when you find that something doesn't fit with your values, at some point you really have to change something.
And also, instead of just being compliant to whatever, media and school or whatever has taught you, I feel like for us to really teach these kids the right way. I come from a Choctaw Native background, you from the Anishinaabe. So it's just like, how can we like ignore that side of our family and traditions and things, especially these days,
Yep. So going to put together a couple of different collections. There will be books for all different ages that you can select from picture books all the way up to history that you might read with your family. We even watched a series, I think, that was really good. So a Decolonizing the Fall book collection is coming. And then on a different note, we will have some winter gifting boxes, because the holidays are coming, like the ones that people share gifts in the winter, which we also have kind of shifted a little bit, but books are a great thing to gift.
Yeah, they're great things. I mean, why?
All the time.
Let's not indoctrinate our kids with the greed of capitalism. Like, let's give them books and things that think art and
speak for now.
And such, I'm just saying, it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't even want to go too deep.
Okay. Speaking of books that are good, I mean, our podcast will definitely, but we'll talk about our learning too. It's not like all of a sudden we've rejected the capitalist system or completely outside of it or something. That's totally not what's happening, but we recognize it and we're trying to grapple with what that means for our family and ourselves. That's we'll talk about that on the podcast too.
Well, also, I mean, we have to, build traditions and for our own family, because, we all come from these very different, diverse backgrounds, and me having, European, Western Africa, Bioko Island, Choctaw, you finding out more about your native indigenous side and such. And it's just like, we want to make sure that we build traditions that our kids can be proud of, and not just like, this is why, it's just like, instead of tying on to traditions that really has nothing to do with them and might not be grounded in very good things, it's like we want them to be grounded in something that gives them a good foundation for their generation, and also for our great grandkids and so forth in the future.
Well, and I think that again, the way being in community, back to that of how to sustain social justice in your family and yourself, being in community, doing that. I know that every time that I talk to my groups of students who are in college about, the complexity of my own identity and me finding out about it and having all sorts of feelings about it, that they're also able to talk about that. I mean, many people have, we all have complex identities that we need to talk about that impact us. The more we open up that conversation, the more that we can be together on a learning journey forward. Speaking of identities, this book, The Brave, is new within the last month or so. And it is about, this is a book, I posted about this on Instagram, but this is a book I wish that I would have read when I was younger. I couldn't have because it wasn't written yet. But it is about, speaking of identity, a young boy, like a middle school boy who is Ojibwe, and he ends up spending some time with his father and learning those traditions, not from the very start, but when he's in middle school age. He also has OCD, which I also have. And so I'm like, all the identities that never got talked about in one book. It's amazing. So this is getting a lot of acclaim. James Bird is the author of this book, and it's super good. Another one that I think would be cool to read anytime. This is a time travel graphic novel. This is a book about a character who is in, it's called Displacement, and it's by Kiki Hughes. It just came out, and it is about a young person who's in San Francisco and then ends up time traveling back and ends up in a Japanese internment, which is something that her family experienced, and super interesting. Great graphics, really like clean, and it starts historically, basically today, and then goes into the past. And I think that's super timely for right now for us to be remembering the ways that people have been displaced. Yeah. One other that would be good for back to school, this is a YA. Don't Ask Me Where I'm From. This is a debut novel by this author.
But where are you really from?
Yeah, exactly. Which there's a great children's book too that's called Ask Me Where I'm From. Don't Ask Me Where I'm From. Oh my gosh, why can I not remember the title of it? But it's also
Saturday.
Where Are You From? Right Where Are You From is what the children's book is called. But anyway, this book is called Don't Ask Me Where I'm From. And it is about a Latinx teenager who goes to a primarily white school and is like dealing with what that's like.
No, but where are your people from?
Yeah, but where are you actually? I'm from North Portland. No, but where are you from? So there's also, so this would be a good book around identity in school, and maybe just approaching school and our friends more thoughtfully when we're trying to figure out. Yeah, it is. Cover artists, I love you all.
Yeah, definitely. They don't mention it right there, but definitely.
Sometimes they don't say the name. I always try to follow, when I love a cover, this is just a pro tip. I like track down the artist and then I try to follow them too, because I feel like those people don't, sometimes, some are very famous, like Vashti Harrison or something.
Yeah, some are, but it's also good to give them shout out and love as well. It's like one of the books I stumbled onto an artist on Instagram because half of my friends are like visual artists now in the last year or so, and I stumbled onto the illustrator to one of the kids' books.
Yeah,
and I loved it. I was like, wait, I know this work.
Big, also author and illustrator, and very famous. She also has tutorials, drawing tutorials that are and printables for kids. So if you're having your last few weeks of summer and need an activity, Vashti Harrison's website has, her stuff is really beautiful. So there's a reason she's super famous, but has tutorials of how to draw little people, and the topics are also good, right? She has like, look at this, think, dream big, little one. Love it. I think that's all I have for what's coming up. We have the book,
which is a lot.
It's so many things. So for me, school starts at the end of September. So I have but then fall is September. So I gotta go. I have work to do.
Wait, are you going to take a little time off?
What does that mean?
Like this week, I have these recording sessions these next couple of weekends. So are you going to just like relax?
What is relax? I don't know. I'm not very good at relaxing.
You're not.
No.
I have to I'm like, it's okay. It's okay to sit down for a little bit. If you're not going
I usually just crash. That's how I relax. Is that I just like fall asleep.
Emoji Blitz.
You're revealing all my secrets. Jen, now everyone knows too much about me.
It took me too long to turn my video back on.
Save me.
Helps at all. I relax the way you do.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you both, Zipporah and Farnell. This has been fantastic. I've enjoyed these conversations, every one of them.
Same. And we'll be back with Two Rivers in some way. So look for us. We're in the community. We're all about the love. So thank you so much for having us.
Of course. Thank you. And we hope to see you guys at our trunk show and at the Food for Justice conversation.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a great day. Thursday, not Saturday.